to Talladega to do a little racing, drive 500 miles. My thoughts of embracing speed around.
You want the clapper, Freddie?
Yeah, give me that clapper.
You got a clapper.
No information, but it's still cool to do.
Let me know.
All right, we're rolling. Anytime you're ready.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
We don't know what we're doing on here because there's nothing on here, so we'll wing it, make it up. All right, welcome to another Need for Speed, another episode. This is going to be special from here on out. I want to introduce my co-host, Nitro Nick Leech.
You can't see, but he's got a gun to my head. He made me come here and do this, but no, I'm pretty excited about this deal. We got the man behind the machine back there making us look good, just from the neck up, just make us look thin and nice. But no, I'm really excited about this. It's about time that somebody took the initiative to do this, and I know you're going to local tracks and doing what you're doing. You've been to Bridgeport, you've been to New Egypt, you've been to Wall. I know Earl Krause really took care of you guys when you went to Wall, and we're going to be able to do some really neat stuff here, Fred.
Yeah, we're this week we're going to bring to you New Egypt Speedway because Craig and I went down Saturday, had a good time down there. We're doing some interviews with some drivers and some of the officials there, got some information. But let's touch a little bit on the history of New Egypt. Nick's been a part of New Egypt for a long, long time. I've only been back there a few years. So, Nick, talk a little bit about the history of New Egypt and what you can do.
I raced go-karts at New Egypt when it was asphalt. Of course, everybody knows it was a NASCAR sanctioned track, asphalt. The Garbacks owned it. And one day, Ricky Grasso was going to the shore, and he seen that the track was dormant, and they opened it up in '98 and turned it to dirt, and it became one of the show places of dirt racing, and they owned it for a few years, and then Fred Volsing and Bill Muskoski owned it. But yeah, I mean, it's since it's became dirt, it's been something. I mean, Ricky and his family, his mother and father owned it first, and then Fred Volsing and Bill Muskoski owned it, and then Ricky took it over last year, and then a couple differences, but I think him and Fred are going to work something out. I mean, Fred owns it now, and they're trying to do the right things, and you guys went there and got a chance to interview my partner in crime, Pistol Pete Wortman. But the history of New Egypt goes way back. I mean, it was originally Fort Dix Speedway. Some guys wanted to have a racetrack, so over there you're in the hotbed of the military, so they made a racetrack, and then of course, Jimmy Spencer raced there. Richie Evans raced there when it was asphalt. And now it's been a dirt track since 1998 until present. And they've had everything there. They've had the World of Outlaws there. They've had the wingless USAC cars there. They've had pretty much everything there.
I mean, I got out of racing for a long time when my father got out of it. And so I was kind of like just on the edge, just watching it here and there on TV when I could catch it. But one night I was sitting at home, or one afternoon I was sitting at home, and I'm like, I want to do something different. I haven't been to a race in years. So I said, let me run down to New Egypt. So I went down by myself, and I hopped up in the stands. They were sitting there, and it came right back to me. My whole childhood came right back to me going to New Egypt, and all the times we spent at New Egypt, and then Flemington and East Windsor and all that stuff came right back to me. So I've been going back there, I guess, about 10 years. I catch probably 10 races a year. I try to go to different tracks, but New Egypt I consider as my home track because it's easy to get to. It's right there on 539. The racing's great. I like the high banks of Bridgeport, but there is something to be said about the way that the track's formed at New Egypt. I like the D in the back. I like the D
five
shape.
Turns instead
five
of
turns
instead of four.
Yeah.
It's unique.
Yeah, and I actually didn't even realize that till I ran the track with the Kenny Wallace Racing Experience about 3 years ago. I got out there and I got around turn 1, 2, and I'm getting ready to go down the backstretch, going to open it up, and wait a minute, there's another turn here. But now that I got to navigate it, and I've been doing a few laps down there over the years, and it's like I really like the D. I can get some speed off that D going into 3 and 4, and get some power going, coming out of it. So I like that track, and there's some really good racing on there. I've seen some really big runners coming down there. I sometimes help my buddy John Scarpati when he's down there. We interviewed him on when we were down there Saturday. I got to be friends. That's how I met you, Nick. And then I recently got to be friends with Dom Antonelli, who was another person we interviewed, and met some of his pit crew. He met my pit crew, which is Craig.
Yep. The man.
But we really did have a good time down there, and it was cruising the pits and talking to people, meeting the people. Matt Rozier was down there. He took us to a couple places, let us talk to the guys that do the pre-race inspections because they were checking out the sprint cars before, and told us all the ins and outs with that. A lot of safety features that they've come up with, and it was a good time had by all. It was just sat with a old friend of my father's, and now I became close with him. Mark Yapel and his buddy John Lane. They're just like a wealth of knowledge of racing.
It's funny because Mark actually made my brother a star. Mark was my brother's crew chief when my brother ran East Windsor. When he drove the 99 cars, that was Mark's car. And I remember Mark setting the car up in the garage when I was a teenager, and he made my brother John a star. My brother won a lot of races when it was Leech and Yapel racing, and it's funny. I hear Mark call you on the radio, and then I talked to Mark afterwards, and I spent a lot of nights in the garage with Mark Yapel, and Mark. We used to hang out with Larry Klein and Rick Holden and all them guys. You talk about Flemington and all that stuff, but yeah, New Egypt is unique. You got to go on the backstretch and go to the Tower of Power. There's a catwalk up there, and you go on the backstretch, and then you get him back there with the camera, and you'll see the whole layout of the track from up there. So
they invited us up to go up there. I was afraid to go up there. I'm afraid of heights.
Get up there.
I'll send Craig up there.
We'll send the Magic up there and let him tape some of the stuff from up there. It's really a unique point of view, and you can actually see the turns, and you can actually see the D shape of the track. And when you see the cars go in, and you're like, all right, well, how's he going to navigate this, and which ways he's going to go? We got to get Ryan Go down on the show. Ryan's one of the premier runners there. I have the Grasso brothers set up to come on the show. We got some local guys like DJ Hunt, who's pretty local here. So once this thing takes off, I'm going to be able to go to New Egypt and talk to some guys and get them to come.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Getting really a lot of people energized about New Egypt, and started to fill the stands again. So it's like it was when I was a kid, and there was always a full stands, whether it was at New Egypt or Windsor or Flemington. Stands were always full that I remember. So we want to get that excitement about new racing, dirt track racing, and New Egypt, bring it back into today's world, and get the kids
involved. The magic
involved.
is the kids, like you just said. The kids is the magic. You get a kid to come to the track, they win bicycles. They don't have to win hardly anything. You win a wristband, and they're like, Dad, we got to go back. If you get the kids, you get the parents, and that's what New Egypt prides itself on, doing all the giveaways, doing all that kind of stuff, and that's what puts the people in the seats.
Yeah, that's one of the things that brought me back from the first time I went to New Egypt was, seeing all the stuff that happens with the families. Like I used to sit there. I still sit up there by myself sometimes. Now I usually have Craig with me, but no, I didn't forget you, Craig.
Oh, I saw him. Yeah.
So, but I used to go up there by myself, and I used to watch all the families down there. In particular, I sat up above Dom Antonelli's family. He's a big family down there. And I used to love to watch the interaction between all the kids and the parents and all that stuff, and how New Egypt involves them as well. And just a whole lot of family-friendly stuff going on there, nice concessions, the menu.
Sausage sandwiches, all that matters.
Sausage sandwiches. Well, as we pointed out, there is no Impossible Burgers there, which is a plus for me.
We could arrange that, I think.
Well, just get one.
Okay.
You're only going to sell one.
We could do that.
We can bring our own. We'll make one before we go.
There you go.
I'll grind up some carrots and put it on a roll, and then you can have it. There you go.
So what you're telling me here is this gentleman doesn't eat any meat?
No, he eats some meat. He ate a sausage too the other day.
Okay.
I'll give him that.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. I made sure it was a real sausage though.
Okay.
So it was a hot sausage too. Yeah. But no, there's just so much going on down there too. It's a lot of family friendly fun. A lot of action going on all the time. If you can get down into the pits either after the race or whatever, you can meet some of the drivers. Everybody that I ran into down there is very, very friendly, and they'll stop and talk to you. Joe Myers stopped me. He actually made a point of chasing me down, so we talked a little bit on there. And so we'll interview him next time we're down there. I mean, really, really, really a
Well,
good
that's
time.
that's the key to it. You got people want to be entertained now. It ain't like the good old days. You just sit there, watch, go home. Now they want something. They want to be entertained, and that's my job. I got to entertain them. I got to do what I got to do. And the Pillsbury Doughboys here, but anyhow, that's what they want. They want to be entertained. They don't just want to sit there like a bump on the log. And if they win something, they enjoy that. Sometimes you sit in the stands and you interview the people and you do the right thing. And it's been a lot of fun at New Egypt for 26 years. I've had a lot of fun there. I've done a lot of things that I met a lot of people that I wouldn't have met.
Right.
Guys like you. Met a lot of superstars, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
I raced with Martin Truex on the go-kart track. It's just, when the atmosphere is right, you can't beat it. It's like being at a circus.
So we want to invite everybody to head on down to New Egypt Speedway. It runs pretty much every Saturday night, and you can catch your your usual card is you got your crate sportsman, your 4 cylinders, and your modifieds, and every once in a while, most of the time they have the street stock and the wingless sprint.
Yeah, the wingless sprints are there.
So
That's a class that Fred Valsing wanted to evolve, and it's starting to evolve more each year. There was a time when that class wasn't going to exist, and Fred said, no, we're going to keep running that, and it's grown in leaps and bounds now. I mean, some nights Bridgeport runs them, and we run them at the same time, and you have a low car count. But when they get like 15 or 16 of them out there, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, this past Saturday was a pretty good count. There was a lot of...
They were 305s.
Yeah,
They're
305s.
there too. Yeah, that's a good... the Mass Sprint Cars, the Mid-Atlantic Sprint Series, they put on a hell of a show too.
Yeah. So come on down, give New Egypt a shot. You'll be back again and again, just like I was. You can always look for me up in the stands. You can look for Craig first. He's the guy eating the Impossible Burger and drinking the near beers. So, and yes, I said near.
Yeah, I mean you could go anywhere and do something on the weekend, but if you want something different, this is different. Take your kids out. All I can tell you is be prepared for some excitement. It's a little loud. They sell earplugs there. Sometimes it gets a little dusty, but you're at a dirt track.
Expect it.
So expect that. Expect crowds. Expect to have some fun. And maybe you walk out of there with a bicycle. You may walk out of there and win the 50-50 and take some money home. It's a good atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. And the drivers, they come out, they have a crossover gate where the drivers can come to the fans, and that's cool too, because don't be afraid of them. They got a uniform on. They usually have a Sharpie in their pocket, get their autograph.
Yeah, so there's something for everybody at New Egypt Speedway, and we want to invite everybody to come on out. Join us. You can check us out on our Need for Speed Facebook page, Need for Speed Radio. That's Nick and I's new Facebook page. We're starting a radio show tomorrow, a 1-hour radio show on WBCB, called Wide Open Wednesday, which is a part of Need for Speed. But it's going to be a 1-hour radio show as we talk about all the tracks around here and what's going on at each track, and just getting everybody excited about racing. So really looking forward to it. We're trying to really expand on this. So hopefully everybody enjoys what we're doing. And I want to thank Nick for joining me with this endeavor, and as always, Craig for being the man behind the scenes. Sometimes he's on the camera. Look on my Facebook page. So, but we pick on Craig a lot. But Craig and I have been friends for 50-something years. So,
well, I appreciate
we
you
get
guys
away with that.
giving me
each
the
other.
opportunity to be a part of this. I mean, I was
Yeah.
just sitting around doing nothing. Today I drive a dump truck for Kyle Koretsky, of course, and they own Maple Grove. And when we do our show tomorrow, we'll talk about Maple Grove. Maybe we'll get Kid Chaos to give us a call. But
that'd be
Fred,
awesome.
I appreciate everything you're doing. Craig, same deal. We're gonna have some fun. I'll tell you that right now. We're gonna have some fun.
We'll expand on this, and we're going to have even more fun as we get more and more episodes behind us and more stuff going on. So stay tuned. And once again, peace.
Peace and love.
A mountain of the man, a magician of a track and the chrome.